We must encompass the environment or issues of wetlands and any other aspects that affect the environment in our master plan process. And I do hope that we will be able to contribute to the master plan process and to add processes that are required before we finish the master plan process. We are, as a city, committed to wetlands, and I think that the issue of wetlands is something that we should keep focusing on. We have a moratorium on planning that has been given by government for 90 days, and as the city of Harare, we were asked to come up with a plan on how we will deal with development control issues.
That Zimbabwe is going to host conference of parties, the 50th conference of parties of the Convention on Wetlands. That's the correct title. It's called the Convention on Wetlands. Although we normally refer to it as the Ramsar Convention, we do so because it was signed in a town called Ramsar. Just like if it were to be signed in Harare, we would call it the Harare Convention on Wetlands. Like you heard, it will be held from the 23rd to 31st of July this year, and the theme is protecting wetlands for our common future. The Convention on Wetlands is contracting parties numbering about 172. So literally we are expecting 172 countries to be represented.
To get a wetland, you need water, and wherever you have water, you have wetlands. So, very simply, wherever water is determining the ecological conditions, so where you've got surface water or you've got water close to the surface in the soil profile, you're going to end up with a wetland condition and a wetland environment ecosystem. And often the wetlands, typically the wetlands, they are receiving water both above ground runoff from rainfall and from surface flow, and there's also underground movement of water going on, and which is important for many wetlands, including the Dambo wetlands that are characteristic of this environment. And we all understand wetlands are functioning to regulate the flow of water, and they also have a role in terms of purifying and cleaning water. Wetlands also support high levels of biodiversity. In Harare, on the wetland ecosystem through the city, there's over 900 plant species have been recorded on the wetlands, over 250 bird species. We don't know the biodiversity very well, so there will be additional species, particularly on the plants, and on all the various other taxa there will also be high levels of biodiversity. One of the reasons or what gives rise to that diversity is possibly relating to the aquatic conditions and areas that are flooded and not flooded to a greater or lesser degree, and local variations in the water profile, the presence of water in the soil profile. So basically that environmental variation is much more marked than is apparent in the Dambo wetlands. So when we look at the Dambos, you tend to see a uniform grassland, but in actual fact there's a lot of different habitats within that wetland ecosystem, and that's supporting the high biodiversity. Many of the species, not all of the species, are really dependent on wetland conditions. Some of them tend to be associated with wetlands. They will also occur in non-wetland environments. Some of them are strictly associated with the wetlands, and you won't find them anywhere else. They're reliant on wetlands for their existence. And what's important is that this biodiversity goes together with the wetlands. It's part of the wetland ecosystem. It's evolved. These are systems that have evolved over a long period of time. So the biodiversity is really an important and critical part of the ecosystem. So it's not just something that is nice to look after. It's an essential, integral part of that ecosystem.
EMA, that is Environmental Management Agency, we collect water samples every month. In Harare, we have got 24 sampling points, which we then take to our laboratory to ascertain whether it is polluted or not, which parameters are in there, how best can we rectify that. So that is what we do as an Environmental Management Agency. So there is severe pollution and ecological degradation, right? Phosphate level have increased nowadays.
We are trying to address the various anomalies and irregularities in terms of development in our Ward 18, which incorporates Borrowdale, Glenlawn, a number of townships, almost 18 of them. And we have since realized that there's a lot of inordinate development ever since the master plan began. People are in a hurry to get pieces of land, either way, legally or illegally. And we are now inundated with many complaints, with so much unease from the residents against these various sinister developments happening in our area, especially in ecologically sensitive spaces like wetlands. And this is a huge worry for us, and we are having to fight back. We're having to rebut the various developments. We are consulting widely the city authorities, we are consulting with EMA authorities in order to come up with a uniform development plan, something that includes the residents, because one of the things that are lacking is the participation of residents. And just today I'm coming from another meeting in the Grange where there is a development by a huge investor, by a known investor, and it all came out in that meeting that there was very little consultation of the residents who are the major stakeholders in any development that is happening in any area. So I'm glad that we even have such a meeting as this, organized by the City of Harare and the Harare Wetlands Trust, as well as the BirdLife Zimbabwe, where we are beginning to expound and to get to understand how these developments come by, and also the city authorities respond to the concerns of various organizations, and we also get to inquire from them, from the various quasi-government institutions and other organizations that have an interest in the in ecologically sensitive areas.